the Big Ten, where you've got some great atmospheres. And certainly with these two teams tipping off today, this is a great opportunity. Indiana's schedule certainly starts to get real. Here today, the Bahamas are right around the corner, but they're going to have to be, Indiana has got to be sharp from the jump. Eastern Illinois game, Mike Woodson said it. They were asleep in that first half. This is another early start. We'll see how they start today.
You've called one of those two early wins. Your early impressions as a look inside to Reneau. He's been better than he was a year ago. We'll see South Carolina for the first time.
Good job by Murray Boyles there. He hung in there. That lob was open. The pass a little off target, and Murray Boyles just making Reneau score over the top. Couldn't do it.
South Carolina terrific last season, an improvement of 15 wins. It's a big reason why Lamont Paris was the conference coach of the year.
These South Carolina guards are going to have to come to play. They play so much through their front court with Murray Boyles and Pringle, and that's a good sign right there. Jamari Thomas, MEAC Player of the Year in 2024. They need his scoring. He can get in the lane.
Lamont Paris told us this morning he was so physically superior in that conference a year ago that you got to learn how to play at the next level, and he has the first bucket.
I think, Paul, also just guys figuring out where they fit. We're seeing it with Kanaan Carlisle, certainly a little bit with Miles Rice as well, but for Jamari Thomas, it's an adjustment when that usage goes down.
Mbako inside the ball, wearing that same number 11 he wore in the Pac-12 at Arizona. And Indiana starts out 0 for 2.
Good job by Pringle of just pushing Ballo off that block area. He got into that 10 feet where that hook isn't nearly as comfortable.
And here's their main star, and he has their second bucket.
Mackenzie Mbako, you just can't gamble. You give up that angle, and that's exactly what Colin Murray Boyles wants, a straight line drive to the rim.
Averaging a double-double at 21 and 11. So 3 transfers coming in from the Pac-12, all starting, including Rice with the ball, the Pac-12 Freshman of the Year last year at Washington State. Malik Reneau going to work. Gets his own glass, new 20. Mbako. It'll stay right here with 14 to shoot.
It's going to be important for South Carolina. They have not been a good defensive rebounding team. 265th in college basketball defensive rebound percentage. You've got them stopped so far, but you've got to close these possessions down.
19 and 14 a year ago for the Hoosiers when you don't make it to the tournament in Bloomington. A lot of spotlight on this year. A seal on the basket here for the Hoosiers. South Carolina looking to build on an early 4-0 lead. Pringle transfer from Alabama. Step back 3. And Ballo with a rebound. Here comes Rice. Has Mbako.
Run. They're trying to play with a little bit more tempo here this season. I love the fact that Miles Rice can be a guy that gets that thing, and with his burst, he can go. Great rim run by Mackenzie Mbako.
Rice, first team All Pac-12 as a freshman last year. Foul called away from the ball against the Hoosiers. Goes against Kanaan Carlisle, the transfer from Stanford.
And Mbako just running this left wing. Miles Rice sees him the whole way. He's bringing it. The pass is on time and on target. Mackenzie Mbako finding an easy one to take the lid off for Indiana.
Easy way to do it with the dunk. Rice so good passing the ball last year as a freshman, averaged 4 assists per year or per game. Pringle coming in from Alabama, up against Ballo right here.
They look to post him more. Alabama, he was more dump downs, lobs, rolls, but they're going to throw him the ball and let him make plays.
Thomas step back 3-0, Mbako with a rebound. Went from solid numbers last year to eye-popping numbers this year. Foul inside. Going against South Carolina's Jamari Thomas. Pardon me, goes against Nick Pringle, his first foul. Mike Woodson came over with his coffee this morning, happy to hang out and talk ball. Do some laughing, do some analyzing of his team. Off to that 2-0 start.
Miles Rice might be in the doghouse, spilled his coffee. on Coach.
Coach took it pretty well. Rice. That'll get you out of the doghouse.
That dribble drive's coming to Miles Rice, though, and he did a really nice job getting to that right corner and getting away from his defender.
And Rice from Columbia, South Carolina, looking inside. Playing against his old hometown team, and here comes Mbako. Got that first step and gets the 2.
That could have easily been a block for an and one on Murray Boyles. He was inside that restricted area, but just the way he's playing, he's been in attack mode from the jump.
He jumped his average from 12 points all the way up to 24 in this early part of the season. Davis is checked into the game, guarded by Mbako. Shot clock down to 6. Defense showing up now for IU.
Was one of the top-rated guys out of the portal. Their talent's undeniable, and you throw in Bryson Tucker as a 5-star freshman. Mike Woodson's got a really talented group, but it's how do those pieces fit together, and how cohesive can they be quickly?
He's got a team too, Robbie. In the last couple of minutes, they've really put it back together. They started out 0 for 4 from the field. They've made their last 3. Mbako, top scorers, made both of his shots. Little pull up for Carlisle. They've hit their last 4.
I thought Mike Woodson leaving him in the game against Eastern Illinois a little bit longer than the other starters to allow him to find some success. He knocked down a couple of shots, just build some of that confidence. They said he was really good in practice yesterday.
They come right back the other way. Foul called against Colin Murray-Boyles.
With Murray-Boyles' physicality, you certainly have to be concerned about him picking up that second foul. It's a moving screen right there, and Indiana's starting to find a little rhythm on both ends of the floor.
Bad news for the Gamecocks. He's one of 3 players in the SEC averaging a double-double at this point of the season. Malik Reneau double teams. Working around him. Mbako knocks it down.
Double team. Indiana doing a terrific job. They're just swinging that ball around the perimeter. And you got to really close out hard to Mbako. Even though Murray-Boyles was pretty much there, Mbako with the size just raising up over the top.
Already has 7 points. Murray-Boyles stays in with those 2 fouls. South Carolina already with 3 turnovers. And they've gone cold. Whistle under the basket. Foul against South Carolina. Let's see who it goes against.
With this post up, South Carolina, they're trying to protect Miles Stute, and that's the right play, but you got to rotate out. The ball is popping around. You see the closeout. The way Mbako's been shooting it, it just doesn't matter. He has been scorching the nest. Now 7 of his first 10 from 3 this year.
They shoot 75% from the field, and look at that. Another one goes in for Rice. All of a sudden, Indiana can't miss.
A little bit of a slow start the first minute and a half, but now Indiana, that ball is moving, and they're getting whatever they want.
It feels like a long time ago that South Carolina led 4-0. 14 consecutive for Indiana. And finally, a call goes their way. Thomas draws the foul.
That's what Jamari Thomas does, though. I mean, he attempted 241 free throws last year at Norfolk State. Murray-Boyles in the drop, and Miles Rice reading that perfectly, getting to his mid-range, and if you're not going to be up, he's going to make you pay for it with the 15-footer.
Thomas misses the first. I'll go back to the conversation we had with South Carolina head coach Lamont Paris this morning. He said, in a building like this, with this roster they have, we just got to stay competitive early, and it's starting to get away from him.
Yeah, he was hoping to take the crowd out early in this one, and honestly, for the first 2 minutes, they got defensive stops. They had a couple possessions with Murray-Boyles on the straight line drive. But Indiana's found their rhythm, and right now, South Carolina, they're just trying to hang on for dear life.
Got to find some defense here, Robbie, as Indiana has made its last 6 field goal attempts.
Fowler's getting really pushed off. Like the repost, you can see Murray-Boyles is so physical.
Rice, back-to-back threes.
He only took 3 shots against Eastern Illinois. I'm sure Mike Woodson encouraged his point guard to look for him to make plays and look for his own offense.
Rice with an early 8 points, almost another steal. Gusick is checked in for South Carolina, trying to give them a little bit of an offensive boost. Stute. And there's the bucket they had to have.
When they need him. 38% from 3 last year, 38% from 3 for his career, just 30 on this season. He hasn't gotten it going yet, but they need Stute to be a shot maker from the perimeter.
Ball ball knocked away, and they have left Murray Boyles in the game with those 2 fouls, and he's been aggressive too.
Just can't lose track. Studi, with his track record over his 5-year career, is that he can make shots from the perimeter. Ballo sees so much attention being paid, and Miles Rice has been so aggressive compared to what we saw in that Eastern Illinois start.
Amazing shooting start. They'll eventually try to get it inside the Ballo, but right now they've made 3 out of 4 3-pointers. Main reason they've opened up this 9-point lead. Trey Galloway's checked in. That's the freshman pulling up. A rare miss, but Ballo collects it. Goody is checked in. Ballo, Galloway. We're happy to have Galloway back out. Knee surgery at the end of last season. All the way in. Swung away. 3 ball is good for Morris Agusic.
Ugusa, the reason he's out there is because he's solid and he can make a perimeter shot. They thought they might redshirt him last year. He played so well they couldn't. He's just a guy that Lamont Paris trusts.
Galloway, the up and under, and all of a sudden they've missed a couple in a row. Davis with the rebound. They missed their last 3.
They really converged on that shot there. Indiana doing a nice job of that interior passing, but South Carolina got a quality contest.
Davis. And Galloway with the rebound. Right away to Mbako. He'll shoot 2.
You take a bad shot, and Zach Davis now 1 of 11 from 3 on the season, and you're just starting the break. Indiana looking up the floor. Miles Studi probably lucky that wasn't called an intentional foul. He didn't really make a play on the ball. Ended up making Mbako miss, and boy, Zach Davis hobbling off the court. South Carolina, they're looking for guard play. Anybody that can help them in the backcourt. He's one of their best defensive players.
Davis to their bench, 6'7", 200 junior. See how long he is forced to stay out. South Carolina coming in at 2-1 for Lamont Paris. Opened up the season with a surprising loss to North Florida, but bounced back with consecutive wins against South Carolina State and Towson. And like Indiana, the first real big grand test here of this early season.
And Paul, with who they lost last year. I mean, Meechie Johnson's at Ohio State. Talon Cooper, a really good player. B.J. Mack, so productive. They're trying to kind of find their roles and define their team and just see what their identity is going to be. Like a lot of teams in college basketball. We talked about how Indiana's got some guys that are kind of seeing what they're going to be this season, and they're not alone. South Carolina's right there with them.
Mbako now has 8 to go along with Miles Rice's early 8 points. South Carolina really the sweetheart surprise story last year with those 26 wins in the SEC. Foul called on Agusic. South Carolina has steadied the ship a little bit here at assembling those nice pieces he had last year.
Meechie Johnson averaged 14 a game. He's at Ohio State. B.J. Mack averaged 13 and 4. They lose him to graduation. Talon Cooper, same deal, 9, 4 and 4. And you're just trying to fill those spots and find production. And so far, it's been a little bit tough, especially in that backcourt for the Gamecocks.
Now, they got a lot of size inside, but the guard play. There's a true freshman, high recruit, Cam Scott. Actually signed with Texas, got out of his letter of intent to come back. Shot clock at 3. Studi has 1. Now he has 2 threes.
That's where Indiana's defense is susceptible. Those middle drives, they help with the nails so much. Smart play by South Carolina. Drive the middle, extra pass, and good sign for the Gamecocks that Studi's found that jumper.
Carolina was on the wrong end of a 14-0 run. They've been better in the last couple of minutes. Good defense there to knock it away from Reneau.
They've been really physical with Reneau and Ballo, just pushing them off their spots.
Thomas averaged 16 per game last year. As Robbie mentioned, the Conference Player of the Year at Norfolk State. First year in the SEC. Got it stuck there. Rice took advantage. Scramble for it. Goody and Galloway have their hands on it. Jump ball. The possession will stay right here with South Carolina.
Miles Rice has really guarded these first 10 minutes of this ball game. He's been locked in from the jump. I love the effort. He's just getting in a stance and making life tough on these South Carolina guards.
You look at his resume, what he brought in from Washington State last year, and it's mostly about offense, but I'm with you that the defense jumps out right here.
He has really played hard on this end.
Only 3 seconds to shoot here. The quick three. And a rebound to Goody back in his home state after 3 seasons at Illinois. Back to Galloway. Led the team in minutes last year, still coming back from off-season knee surgery. It's been terrific passing the ball so far this year.
Indiana had numbers. Stute went down, and they couldn't take advantage. Pretty good transition defense by the Gamecocks.
Rice had a couple of those. Rebound to the Gamecocks. Well, they've been quick to fire those threes. He had a couple of those. Stute missed that one. And the one true freshman, Bryson Tucker, brings it up. Galloway to Renew. Now called on inside as he was going hard to the basket.
1 week of college basketball, if we've seen anything with the emphasis on officiating, it's been that if it's even close, it's going to be a block. You mentioned Trey Galloway's passing. He's been terrific all year long. Ugasuk a little bit late coming over. It's like in baseball when they'd say tie goes to the runner. It's tie goes to the offense. It's going to be called a blocking foul.
Renew. Quick first step got him in the lane. And comes back here to South Carolina.
South Carolina's bigs have been up to the challenge of guarding Renew and Ballo. Pringle there, he stayed with Renew step for step. Made it a tough one, was a good contest. That's tough when you got a guy like Pringle at 6'10" who can really contest shots.
South Carolina trying to take advantage of the cold spell Indiana's on. They've missed their last 6. Good block out there from Rice.
Kobe Wright's been a guy that's been dependable in that backcourt. He's had some good looks here early, but hasn't been able to get him to go.
From 7 consecutive makes to 6 straight misses, Galloway finds the lane, and Renew couldn't hang on.
It's the right idea, but just the execution a little bit off there on that pass by Galloway.
Scott, true freshman. And a rebound to Goody.
Cam Scott is now 1 of his last 11 from 3. That freshman, big time reputation as a scorer, but it has not shown yet in college.
Tucker spin, that's a tough shot, but he gets it to go.
He loves that mid-range, and you're right, that's an incredibly tough shot. Off balance, off that spin, but for Bryson Tucker, he is a mid-range assassin there, just getting to his spot and raising up.
5-star recruit, had 12 points, 6 rebounds in the last outing. That was a win a few nights ago against Eastern Illinois. Haven't got him going yet. Murray Boyles, their #1 scorer, the skip pass, 5 to shoot. Right, Ugasuk. That's good offense.
But Indiana in rotation because of Colin Murray Boyles. That skip pass, and you get that drive and kick going. Ugasuk, a guy that can make them.
Another fade away. Malik Renew fighting for it, gets it. All muscle that time.
He got to the body of Pringle there. That's Malik Renew just putting South Carolina in the weight room.
A few minutes ago, Robbie, I mentioned that South Carolina had to find a way to come back. They had a 14-0 run. They've done that. Ugasuk
certainly hung in there.
Well, he has been their scorer recently, and he'll go to the line. Inside of 8 minutes here in Assembly Hall, Indiana had a big lead early at 10.
But they've got a lot of production in the backcourt to replace. And you look at this game, 12 of South Carolina's 15 field goal attempts have come from 3. They're only shooting 29% from 3 on the year. And that's much higher than their season average for their shot profile. So Indiana taking away those driving lanes. They've taken away Colin Murray Boyles after the first couple minutes. And it's been South Carolina just launching threes.
Spending time around their shoot around and talking to their personnel, it's a question that came up quite a bit, Robbie. Can we make the threes consistently?
Well, and I think part of that is how teams are going to scheme against them because they haven't shot the ball well from the three-point line. And some of that is, you know what, Indiana's going to stop the dribble drive. They are going to be to the ball. They're not going to let you get dribble penetration. So South Carolina is going to have to make some of these things and loosen that defense.
Ballo's been quiet. That's off for Rice. Only the second turnover against the Hoosiers. They've made only 2 of their last 9 shots. Offense slowed down a little bit for Mike Woodson. They had a heck of a run here early in this first half. But Wright all the way inside there, dumps it off. Ballo with the ball.
That's the Oumar Ballo effect, because it looked like Wright had a layup and he just didn't want to go up and challenge the big fella.
They haven't got much inside, Robbie, from Ballo or.
Yeah, I'd like to go into Renew and challenge Murray Boyles. He doesn't want to pick up that second foul, and if they bring a post double, now you're playing out of rotation.
Cam Scott, the true freshman, has the foul go against him. Miles Rice to the line. Comes in shooting 83%. So I mentioned earlier, Robbie, he's from Columbia, South Carolina, right where the University of South Carolina is. I said, did you grow up a Gamecock fan? He said, no, to be honest, during football season, I pulled for Clemson. But he said he knew everybody back home would be watching today, so a special afternoon for him. And he also has a game-high 10 points.
He's just been so much more aggressive. Only 3 field goal attempts against Eastern Illinois, only 1 in that first half in that game. He's been good on this end, though, too. He's gotten in a stance and he's guarded.
South Carolina has had this lead down to 5 a number of times after trailing by 10. Ugasuk's got a couple of threes. Wright. Osman Sverdonk is checked in. Now they kick it back outside. Good look at a 3 that misses.
That's his second foul. Boy, Murray Boyles, you can't take that one. You love his aggressiveness of trying to get on the offensive glass, but you don't get it. You just got to get back.
And second foul against Murray Boyles.
South Carolina getting multiple opportunities here. It's been a problem at times for the Hoosiers to close down on the defensive boards, but that's just not a smart play for a guy that South Carolina needs on the floor.
Stute checks back in. He got him going early with a couple of threes. Murray Boyles goes in. Only 1 field goal attempt for the leading scorer. And he'll sit with 2 fouls in the bonus meanwhile. Mbako knocks it down. He's got 9 points now. He's the second leading scorer for IU.
He just looks so much more comfortable this season, in his role, what he's supposed to be doing, how Mike Woodson wants him to score. Certainly defensively, you still have some lapses, especially off the ball, but he's made real strides. If you remember what he looked like the first couple games last year, defensively, he has come a long way.
Averaging 24 now offensively, Robbie, up to 10 points. Right. Ugasuk, that has been his spot.
And he's been South Carolina's best player. He has really kept them in this game with his shooting. Roll and replace action. He's on the backside, and Ugasuk, man, that stroke is going.
Got his feet wet in the SEC last year as a freshman. Wasn't a main contributor.
How about the fact they said he's gained 25 pounds? He could gain another 25 pounds and probably still look like he could add weight.
Carlisle hits a 3.
That's a big sign for Indiana to see him get his offense going. Times it's looked like he's been a little bit lost, and you think about how high his usage was last year at Stanford, and at times with Indiana, he's going to be the 4th and 5th option on the floor.
They told us Ugasuk put on that weight, and I think we both glanced at him and had the same thought.
Yeah, there's more to put on there.
Yeah. Ways to go. Shot clock down to 8. Right, blocked from behind. Real collision there between Stute and Rice. 5 seconds to shoot. It'll stay with South Carolina.
Carlisle got picked off by that Bozeman's Verdonk screen, but he never quit on the play. Just stayed right in there. And the fact that he gets a hand on this ball, there's that screen. He keeps coming. It's a good contest from the back. That's good effort from Indiana all around.
There's a real collision there. Rice, until just a second ago, had been holding that shoulder. Still testing it out. And he had the foul go against him. Right, strong pull-up.
Boy, those are ones where Carlisle's just got to tip his cap. I mean, he did everything right on that play. It's just better offense from Jacoby Wright.
See how much he elevated on that shot?
And hung there, too.
Ballo trying to set a pick for Rice. He's got 10. I think that was a pass, but he'll take the 2.
I think Ballo thought it was too. He had both options. He could have floated it up. He could have thrown it to the big fella, but he gets the roll.
We've been in this rhythm here, Robbie, for a big part of the first half. That's a 7-point lead, cut to 5. They're not going to cut it to 5 this time because here comes Rice. He's got alley-oop. Caden Carlisle with the finish. Rice. Mbako rebound. Thinks about pushing. Finds Renew, wants Ballo inside. See if he goes to work against Pringle. Tries to dump it down, steals South Carolina. Jamari Thomas left by himself.
Man, Indiana's fortunate there.
Malik Renew, Mbako, spin. Gets his own board and cleans it up.
I love that Mbako saw that he had a much smaller defender guarding him, and he was not going to be denied.
Hoosiers back to a double-digit lead. Ugasa, travel.
Whenever South Carolina has taken a bad shot, Indiana has made them pay in transition. These IU.
It's like, is this thing working?
They got to juice these things up for these guys. But what a weird schedule for the Heat. Played at the Pacers on Friday. They have a day off today, and then they play again in Indiana on Sunday.
South Carolina got as close as 26-22, but it's been all Hoosiers since then. Ballo. Well, he had a position of leverage right there, and he'll shoot too.
Well, I love the play. You just duck in Ballo, and I think Trey Galloway has been just fabulous at feeding the post this year. He rifles this thing in. That's a no-doubter. And if Ballo doesn't catch it, it's going to hit him right in the chin. Galloway, you mentioned it, Paul, just the way he's passed. Coming into today, 17 assists, just 4 turnovers, and doing that on only 17 minutes a game.
It's amazing.
He's still been on like that pitch count or minutes restriction from Mike Woodson because of his knee from the offseason.
That's the player. First of all, a fifth-year senior, and it's rare now. All those years have been spent inside the same program.
Well, and you look at a guy like Trey Galloway, and he's certainly a guy you want to build your culture around, your program around. He played with Trace Jackson Davis, and has certainly been a guy that has just bled for Indiana.
Played the most minutes for the team last year. In fact, was the only Hoosier to go over 1,000 minutes, and still working his way back from that offseason knee surgery. Ugasuk has really kept him in this game.
Go under on him. Wow. Carlisle, man, he's made a couple. You got to take that thing over the top, because Ugasuk has shown that in this game here, he is making shots.
He's got 14 points already. Galloway this time to the hoop. Ballo. Board and 2.
That's the thing. If you've got a shot blocker, Nick Pringle went over to take that Galloway shot on, but there's just no one home to clean up Ballo.
Davis back in the game, just picks it up top. Galloway almost had the steal. Studi. He's also been shooting well between him and Ugasuk. That's your offense.
And if you gamble like that for Trey Galloway and you don't get it, now you're playing 4-on-5. Gamble there, and it leads to the open 3 for South Carolina's best shooter.
Ugasuk and Studi, thanks to what they're doing from beyond the arc, have 23 points combined.
How about South Carolina taking 18 threes in this first half? They average 21 a game.
Galloway kicks it out. Carlisle. In and out.
He just looks so much more confident today.
2-minute mark here on the Saturday afternoon. Indiana on top of South Carolina 38-30. They've led the entire way. They've had the lead as many as 11.
So you have to think South Carolina has to feel pretty fortunate to only be down 8 the way that this first half has gone at times.
A nice spin move to free up. Could it be another 3 short this time? And here comes Rice. As Carlisle to his left goes to Mbako. Hustle play for Rice. New 20. Rice got to double figures right away in this game. Pull up. 2 more.
That drop coverage. Miles Rice is just coming off so casually, and it looks like he's taking a shot in practice there. The screen picks his defender off, and Miles Rice has all the time in the world.
Averaged 15 last year at Washington State when he was first team All Pac-12, and already he has 14. Eight to shoot. Thomas. Ballo playing volleyball.
For Jamari Thomas, you have to think these dribble drives, it might not be for me. That the help is converging over.
To 30. Sometimes what you hear at the shoot around from a coach actually plays out with what you see in one of the halves of basketball. And right now we just saw Jamari Thomas, Conference Player of the Year last year, probably made a finger roll a number of times. This time Ballo just swatted it about 6 rows deep.
And you go up a level, it's just different, right? Like that's probably a layup for him. A guy that averaged 21 a game last year at Norfolk State, but it is different when you're playing at the high major level.
And shot clock almost ran out. So they get that late 3 attempt and his own rebound, and he couldn't get it to go. Gets it back again.
That's gotta be a foul. Wow, Boyle's got hammered.
He almost got tackled. Carlisle. 9-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Miles Rice has been a nice version of control and aggressive here this whole first half. He's got 17 points.
He has just killed the drop coverage for pull-ups, and that time just a step-in 3.
5 seconds left in the half. Got to get something off. Wright. Well, they steal that late 2. They go ahead and count that one. And that's how the first half comes to a close, but the Hoosiers had the lead back up into double digits
for a good made up to slow him down, and the Hoosiers so far have done a good job of it. I think also you look at the number of shots from 3. South Carolina has taken 23 pointers in that first half. I'm sure Lamont Paris said, guys, we've got to get some stuff going at the rim.
And they've only made 7 of those, Robbie. Meanwhile,
and they're not a team that shoots a lot of them. That's the thing,
right? Ball knocked out of bounds. Indiana, whether it's from distance or the pull-up inside, they've made over half of their shots. That includes 2s and 3s.
And I like the way they've gotten out and run off their defense. When they've had stops or South Carolina's taken a bad one, Indiana has taken advantage and used their athleticism and their length to get out in the open floor.
Mbako inbounding the ball, 1 of 2 Hoosiers in double figures. He has 12, but this guy right here, Miles Rice, had 17 in the first half. Renew, quiet offensively in the first 20 minutes. Finds the lane.
I like the play call, though. Go right at Colin Murray-Boyles and trying to pick up his 3rd foul.
South Carolina had a number of times in that first half, Robbie, where it felt like the Hoosiers were threatening to run away, but they get it back down to 4 or 5. This is one of those moments right here, too.
They've had enough of their role guys make shots from the perimeter, and that's what's kept this thing manageable. Good hands there by Kanan Carlisle.
Carlisle was on the Pac-12 all-freshman team last year along with Miles Rice. Rice at Washington State, Carlisle at Stanford. See Ballo there. He also came in from the former Pac-12. A lot of good time in the paint down there in Tucson. Studi had a nice first half, too. Misses the layup. Foul on the floor to stay here with South Carolina.
You can see a concerted effort by South Carolina to find some opportunity in the painted area. First with the dribble drive and then with the offensive rebound. Nick Pringle really limited in that first half. Did not score, had 1 rebound, didn't even take a shot in 14 minutes.
First foul against Ballo. Studi. He was hot there in the first half. Pringle with the offensive board. Back up top to Thomas. Pringle did not have a bucket in the first half. Missed the layup.
That's one where he's got to convert that. Got all the way to the rim.
It was a great look.
Ooh, that was fortunate. That was not there. We talked with Mike Woodson at shoot-around about Miles Rice kind of picking his spots on when to go and when to not. He's got great burst, so he can really go with it. That was fortunate that ball was kicked, because that was going to be a turnover.
I don't think Curtis Rourke, the quarterback for IU, would have approved of that.
Would have let him over the top a little bit.
There we go. Renew. 3.
He's making that. That would change so much for this Indiana offense. That's his first 3 of the year. He made a couple last year. Man, if he can spread the floor, that's going to give these Indiana guards and Oumar Ballo some serious room to operate in the paint.
His 3rd season on campus, they're expecting a lot from him. Largest lead for the Hoosiers now at 14. Deep 3, and they knock it back to 11.
And that's got to be talked out by Miles Rice and Cannon Carlisle. I mean, it's just a little dribble exchange with the handoff, and 2 goes with the wrong guy, and you've got a wide open shot there for Jamari Thomas.
Rice with the ball coming from the Pac-12, Robbie. He didn't have as much fanfare as a transfer signee as Ballo, but boy, has he looked good so far.
I just think he's the most important transfer here at Indiana because he's going to run the show. He's going to be the guy that sets the table and sets the tone. Ballo certainly will have great importance as well, but Miles Rice is a big pickup for this team.
South Carolina trying to chip away at that lead.
In fact, great job on Murray Boyles. He does not look comfortable out there.
Only 2 points.
And Malik Reneau just getting screened in. Murray Boyles not in any hurry to get out there to contest. Malik Reneau making his first 3 of the year, and there's that miscommunication. It's a simple switch. You got to be with the ball.
We talked a lot about South Carolina. Look at Rice pulling up again. South Carolina not shooting the 3 well, but Indiana's made over half of those. Only the 2nd miss so far for Rice.
What a move.
Terrific spin, my goodness.
Bunt.
Missed the layup. Makes that 99 times out of 100. And Mbako has 12.
It's not a great shot there. Mbako has been so good offensively this season so far, but that was a force.
Pringle hands off to Thomas.
The thing is for South Carolina, they're not going to win unless Murray Boyles gets it going. I mean, they need him to be a guy that's given 20 and 10 every night.
Not even close to that.
Oh, a terrible lob becomes cashing out from 3.
You got to smile at that, Cannon Carlisle. Was this a shot or a pass? Could have gone either way.
Yeah, unsure. This was definitely
a pass.
He had Mbako down there posting up, and his reaction and the bench's reaction. Yeah, that is funny.
Reneau had the surprise kind of smile, kind of, what do you do with that? Take the 14-point lead and play some defense. South Carolina desperately trying to get the ball inside. That's a good look to Pringle, and there's 2.
There. You flash Murray Boyles to the high post. You got Pringle just doing his work early and pushing Ballo up the lane. And for the first time today, big pass and an easy bucket for South Carolina.
Yeah, Pringle has 1 basket, Robbie.
They need him to be a factor, and certainly Murray Boyles as well.
Ballo fouled on a shot he thinks he should make, and he'll get 2. Foul goes against Murray Boyles. He's got 3.
This is pretty basketball right here. You just flash to that high post, and then you've got the lob over the top, and you can see Nick Pringle just did his work, and he jammed Ballo way up the lane. You give that passer space to work with there, and that makes that pass so much easier.
Who would have thought Murray Boyles averaging a double-double would have more fouls at this point of the game than he does points?
And the fact the last 2 games he's averaged 23 and 12 and shot 80% from the field. You know, it's just been one of those days. And give Indiana's front court a lot of credit. They've matched his physicality. They haven't given him straight line drives for the most part. And certainly his foul trouble has limited some of his aggressiveness.
And they'll keep him in with 3 fouls, and why not when you're down 12?
Yeah. But Ballo's free throws are going to be something to watch for because he can draw a lot of fouls, but those 2 did not look very good.
They continue to get it inside. Pringle with it, just had his first basket. Thomas to Stute, back to Thomas, deep 3. They continue to misfire from deep, and here comes Rice. It's a pretty good decision making today, too.
That's a good push. It wasn't there. You bring it back out, and now look at all the space that Reneau has.
Second possession they've had, Robbie, that leads to 2 free throws. And that is now 4 fouls against Colin Murray Boyles, still with only 1 basket. Hoosiers on top of South Carolina.
Like to post you up, push their defenders up the lane, and then clear out the backside and throw over the top. We haven't seen that one time today. So Indiana's defense up to the task of a guy that, you look at mock drafts, they've got him going in the first round in a lot of places.
He's created a lot of attention with the way he has started this season. Meanwhile, at the line, Malik Reneau. Numbers were good last year, Robbie. 15 and 6 the average. What are you looking for this year?
Well, I just think to continue to progress, like he's got to stay on the floor without fouling, and that's been a bit of a problem even this season. But he's a guy that's so important to this team. We saw him spread the floor with a three earlier in this game. That would be huge for this group. But he's driving the ball confidently. He looks like he's in the best shape of his life. And Mike Woodson's talked about how on the defensive end of the floor, he's been able to better defend, guards, because Indiana wants to switch four ways. He's got to be better off the ball. But Malik Reneau has a ton of ability, and he's lining up to have a big season here.
Got that extra free throw attempt to South Carolina was in the lane early. We saw Alabama last night, West Lafayette, with a giant lineup. In Indiana, not quite the same. But they have three starters there. The ball goes to Ballo.
Reynolds has got to catch the ball there.
They can be awfully big as well.
Yeah, no, they really can. You talk about a lineup, and Woodson has done it throughout his time here. It's not just because he inherited Race Thompson and Trace Jackson Davis. You go Ware and Reneau, and now you've got Ballo and Baco Reneau. Those are big lineups that he's played.
Reneau has Ballo in there. Nice spin move to the baseline, and he'll go back to shoot two.
No, I think they're going to get him for stepping out of bounds.
They got him out of bounds. Yes, they did.
Kind of gave you that fake to the middle, and then
right there.
Yeah, he does just step on that end line.
Thomas left open. Stute, boy, he is knocked these down. Not going to get a better look than that. Gamecocks making only 1/3 of their deep shots here so far. Carlisle, pull up.
See, there I thought he could have set that little pocket pass to Reneau there. I know Carlisle's found some jumpers here and made some shots, but he had Reneau on that roll, and Reneau could have made something happen.
As part of what Mike Woodson told us, he's looking to find the familiarity and the trust.
Yeah, that's hard, especially when you're dealing with coming from such a situation where you were used so heavily.
Stute has looked good shooting the ball tonight.
He's been the offense in Ugasuk, and outside of that, it really hasn't been much of anybody else.
Stute up into double figures now with 11 points. Carlisle, that's a tough shot.
It is. They bring him off a pin down, and he's just flying off that thing, and he is looking to score.
Carlisle has 12. Joins Baco and Rice in double figures for IU. Reneau thought he had a nice tap away there, but he's called for the foul.
Nick Pringle is fortunate. That easily could have been Indiana going the other direction.
Carlisle checks out. Ballo will go out as well. No, Ballo comes back in, and it's Reneau coming out. Indiana's largest lead here at 14 points. Slip pass inside down to the floor goes the freshman Cam Scott. Another foul against Indiana, against Galloway. Both teams have done a little lull offensively, and there's the contact against Galloway that got him his first foul. Scott, deep three. Ballo is such a big body in there when he gets that good position. Rice, Goody. Ballo, back-to-back rebounds.
It doesn't go down, but still the push by Rice, that gets Goody a great look.
Strong first step. He thought he was fouled.
Butler did a good job. He just went vertical.
Scott on the ground. Back to Davis. He's got Butler. Takes it himself and one.
Good to see Zach Davis back in this game, because he looked like he rolled his ankle pretty severely. He's back on the floor. He draws some contact here. Cam Scott getting to the floor first, and South Carolina Hasn't felt like they've had any easy opportunities tonight. Finally out in the open floor, and Davis with an opportunity for a three-point play. It's the second lane violation we've seen in this game.
And one aside. Shooting right into a rowdy student section, makes the second one.
South Carolina just hanging around.
Just enough. Indiana's had a chance to put him away. They've had him down double digits for a while now. Reneau is set to check back in. Galloway strong. Kick to Goody. Rice. He'll shoot two.
I like the offense. It's multiple dribble drives. It's first Galloway getting that penetration. Goody swinging it, and then it's just Miles Rice driving it right back in there.
Foul called against Zachary Davis. Rice has been quiet here in this second half. He's been looking more to pass, but he does have a game-high 17 points. Made 6 out of 9 shots.
He's a phenomenal story. Everything he went through his freshman year with leukemia, coming back last year, being first-team All-Pac-12. You can see, you go to an Indiana shoot-around, the energy that he's bringing, it's one of those things that it's infectious around your teammates.
I mean, he was clearly happy to be there.
But think about the perspective he's got. You know, you go through something like that, and then you get through it, and now you get to play basketball in the Big Ten. I mean, he is a terrific story.
He's got 19 points. And he's got a steal. He's got Galloway, and he's got two.
Right on cue.
Foul called on the way to the basket.
Miles Rice just shooting this gap right through the passing lane, and then he sees Galloway, just puts it in the vicinity. And Trey Galloway doing a nice job of running the floor and finishing off that deal.
Rice averaged 4 assists per game last year. That's his third. Galloway's first basket tonight. Ugasuk.
What a screen by Verdonk right there. I mean, it looks like Bozeman's Verdonk could like rush the edge here for Indiana.
Ugasuk, career high 16 points.
Well, he was not getting a better screen than that.
Galloway, you mentioned it, but it's worth calling out again, averaging 8.5 assists per game. Kicks it out to Goody. Shot clock down to 10. Reneau, you like that spin?
Yeah, that footwork. Big time.
And one.
Well, Malik Reneau is just going to work here. Catch the ball. Harris is thinking we can't win with him on the bench. He's got 4 fouls, but he's now back in at the under 12 timeout. They're going to need him to be aggressive. He just has never found the rhythm in this game. Those 4 fouls, but they're going to need him now if they're going to come back.
And now would be a good time for that to begin inside of 12 minutes. And trailing by 15. Ugasuk has been their best shooter so far, 16 points.
I think he's been their best player.
Knocking down everything. There you go. Pringle, offensive board, lost it.
And he had Trey Galloway, but you put that thing on the floor. Now the help's coming. He dribbles that right off his foot.
Look inside. Reneau, Galloway, Goody. He's had a couple of good looks there.
I like the offense, though. Throw that to Reneau. You know the trap's coming to protect Murray Boyles, and Indiana got a great look for Luke Goody.
Done a better job of creating open looks than South Carolina has. That's been their best offense. Back-to-back misses. From Champaign to Bloomington, that's back in his home state is Luke Goody.
Luke Goody known as a shooter, but he certainly can be a good rebounder as well with his size.
Galloway. Bring it up. Largest lead for the Hoosiers of 18. Davis against Galloway. Forced that one, but got it to go. Indiana is an interesting mix of new and also old. 6 new transfers, but they also bring back 3 of the top 4 scorers. Goody, he's determined to knock down his first 3.
Some open looks. Look at this push here.
Thomas raced in. That got Davis an easy 2. He'll have a chance to make it 3.
South Carolina going to a 1-3-1 zone. Indiana, honestly, good offense. They get a good shot for a guy that has had some struggles in the preseason and also in that SIUE game. But off the miss, South Carolina usually pretty deliberate, but they're pushing the tempo. He's past there, Jamari Thomas. You run the floor. Zach Davis rewarded.
Well, there was a point here early in that second half where South Carolina didn't have a single transition bucket.
They play very methodically. You know, if you're looking at Lamont Paris's teams, he comes from that Bo Ryan coaching tree. What do we know about Bo's teams? Man, they were very methodical. So that's something that they've been. But now with this score and the time, you probably start kind of ramping this thing up.
Spent 7 seasons as an assistant in Madison, learning that system. Galloway, Renew, another assist for Galloway.
Yeah, Galloway, though, is just seeing the floor so well. Whether that's post feeds and pick and roll, he comes off that screen and just throws a perfect pass over the top.
And knocks that one away. Ugasuk with a drive.
Jump stop. It's just a smart play.
Right?
It's been out of control. You come to a jump stop off 2 feet. You get Goody in the air. But Trey Galloway, man, the assist numbers through 2 games, eye-popping. He's feeling the game so well. 2 on the ball. Pringle a little bit slow getting back. And that pass over the top is just perfect to Malik Renew.
Started every game he played in the last couple of years, not starting yet. Almost all the way back from the knee surgery early in the spring, and we'll see if he eventually makes it into the starting lineup, but playing that role awfully well off the bench so far.
I'm curious to see what his role will be in the Bahamas, because you've got 3 games in 3 days. It's the only time this season you're going to play that many. And certainly the competition. The first game in the morning playing Louisville. If you win, you probably see Gonzaga. You got Arizona at the bottom of that bracket. There's some real competition down there at Atlantis. But for a guy like Galloway, you just wonder, what are his minutes going to look like?
3 games in 3 days, a lot for anybody. Students fired up to try and make Ugasuk miss a second straight free throw. Won't happen.
Free food is the ultimate motivator.
Especially at that age. Galloway directing traffic.
Oh, what a cut by Mbako.
An assist that gives him a chance for an and 1.
You got pick and roll at the top of the floor, and Mackenzie Mbako, his defender, just totally falls asleep. You see it right there. It's Colin Murray Boyles. He gets caught ball watching, and when your defender turns his head and loses you, what do? You cut to the rim. Mbako with a terrific cut and gets that roll for the 3-point play.
So you've got Pringle for South Carolina now with 3 fouls. As we talked about, their other big fella, Murray Boyles, has 4. Now the lead back up to 17. Strong inside. Another shot for an and 1.
I think Pringle didn't see too many post-up opportunities at Alabama last year. It was all lobs, rolls, dump-offs. But here it's just one-on-one, ISO in the post, and he does a nice little Sigma, rip and go right through Renew. Pringle, after a tough first half, trying to find his offense here in the second as well.
Boy, sometimes you miss so badly it goes in.
Except being good.
They'll take it. Stays in the SEC, going from Alabama here to South Carolina. Ballo checks back in. Such a fixture at Arizona, 71 consecutive starts the last couple of years. Goody checks out. It just gives Indiana all the more physical presence inside. Galloway showing versatility, playing both versions of guard, points and off. Renew to Ballo, too much.
Tell the Renew Ballo combination is still trying to work some things out.
5 turnovers now for IU. Thomas pull up.
Pringle, what a screen he set right there on Trey Galloway.
South Carolina, as we've talked about for a lot of the second half, just hanging around
that 11-12 point mark.
Miles Rice set to check back in, has a game high in points. It's not where they want Ballo with the ball. Quick first step from Galloway. 2 more free throws coming up for Nick Pringle.
If you're Jamari Thomas, you've got to make Galloway use that ball screen. You turn that down, there's just no help there. Check out this screen here. This double drag. It's Murray Boyles first, but then Pringle just picks off Trey Galloway.
I believe that's 5 fouls against Colin Murray Boyles.
It's been a disappointing afternoon for Murray Boyles.
He's still on the court. And Jacoby Wright is set to check in. He's still out there now.
Now he's getting his money's worth here.
5 fouls.
I don't know if he knew that he had fouled out of the game.
I don't think he did. Only 2 points. Who saw that coming?
Not with the way he's played this year.
Been averaging over 20. So he takes a permanent seat. And Reneau knocks it down. A lot of people were excited to watch him play today, and they will be for the rest of the way as well. But disappointing outing for him here at Assembly Hall. Reneau hits them both.
I really thought we'd see more Murray Boyle drives, like just at the elbow, put Reneau in space, make him move his feet on the perimeter, and then South Carolina just never was able to get to that stuff.
Skip pass, Stute. He's cooled down here in the second half. Rebound to Mbako.
The skip pass, he was pretty open. Reneau was that low man. He was to the ball. Stute got a good look.
Rice had Ballo for a moment. His next bucket will put him over 20 points.
Carlisle is furious at the ref, but where's he going to go? Should be mad at Ballo for throwing a pass nowhere.
In control from the starts, leading South Carolina the entire way. 7:36 left. Lead now is 14. 4 players for the Hoosiers, Robbie, in double figures. Kind of a good snapshot of who they are this year. 2 of those players are brand new to this team. 2 are returners.
And I think it has to be a really positive sign to see Kanaan Carlisle with 12 points. Miles Rice, a much better game here today than what we saw against Eastern Illinois. And we know what Mbako can do. We know what Reneau can do. Indiana's got a lot of weapons at their disposal.
South Carolina was hanging around early, Robbie. They were making threes, but they made 1 of their last 10. Pringle almost had an N1. He'll shoot 2.
This is the most post-up action Pringle has seen. He didn't get that at all last year at Alabama, and that's really what South Carolina has run their offense through here in this second half. They've just started throwing him the ball, and they've let him go to work.
4 fouls now against Malik Reneau. He's one of those Hoosiers in double figures. You know, Pringle had his moments in Alabama last year. You think back to that win in the Elite 8 over Clemson. He had a double-double.
And I saw him in the first weekend of the NCAA tournament out in Spokane, and I was impressed with the way he actually passed the ball out of the short roll. You know, they would have him come up and set ball screens. He'd get out of it quickly, especially if it was a hard edge, and he'd catch that thing and spray it. We all know how Alabama wants to shoot those threes, and that's something we haven't seen Pringle do at South Carolina.
They were going down so much last night up the road in West Lafayette.
Yeah, they got some open ones too. They have not shot the ball well on the season for the Crimson Tide.
Galloway to Rice.
Follow in there.
And quick passing. Now with the 3, and again, it's been tough for them to make those, but they can cut this to a single-digit deficit.
It's crazy that this is still hanging around 12. It feels like it's 20.
Right, spin, and he'll go to the line.
Just a little half spin, got Carlisle off balance, and Jacoby Wright, that whole side was his to play with.
Carlisle's second foul.
Just him taking that dribble back to the middle, and then it's right back to the baseline. That's a good dribble drive.
Jacoby Wright, season off to a good start. 4th year on campus at South Carolina, knocks down the first free throw. Is at double figures in each of the 3 games coming into this game. Only has 5 right now.
He's been a pleasant surprise. I mean, he averaged just under 6 a game last year, and his scoring has taken a big jump.
Talked to Lamont Paris at shoot-around this morning. He said, I increased his role because he's such a good, reliable kid. And now the lead, just 10 points. Galloway to Rice. He has 19 points. Almost lost the ball and gets the layup.
If you're Jamari Thomas, you just have to be solid there. You sell out for the steal, and then Ballo clears the way with that aggressive duck in inside.
21 points now for Rice. Thomas, he gets a layup on the other side.
Indiana, it's just got to be more resistant than that. Jamari Thomas coming off the ball screen, and just no one stops him on his way to the rim.
He's now got 10 points. Ballo back to Galloway. It's a lob. And a whistle called before the shot against Pringle. That'll be the 7th foul against South Carolina, though, so Ballo will go to the line.
Pringle was pleading his case that he got popped in the mouth here. Ballo with that physicality. It looks like Pringle had wrapped Ballo, and I think that's the right call.
Big news when Ballo said he was coming here to Bloomington after being first team All Pac-12 2 times at Arizona. It has been a while since South Carolina's been trailing by.
Oh boy, that was a dangerous pass.
Got a chance to cut it down into single digits. Wright working his way in. Might have traveled, no call.
Boy.
We got a technical. Carlisle got right in his face. And, pardon me, Lamont Paris doesn't like being down by 10, but he likes how his team has fought to get back into this spot. Still time here with 5:32 left. Colin Murray-Boyles will watch the rest of the way. He is fouled out. Now the lead down to 9. See if Rice has the answer. Ballo. And that's a foul against Thomas. Galloway to the line.
Can't just take down the cutter. Jamari Thomas now pleading his case, but that's definitely a foul.
Lamont Paris oversaw the biggest turnaround in South Carolina history last year. From 11 wins to 26. Carlisle checks out. Trying to see a comeback here. His team was down by 17. Galloway puts the lead back to 10. Galloway with 6 points. Makes them both. He also has 2 assists. Time winding down. Let's see if South Carolina can get back into finding their range from 3. It has really gone away here in the second half. Ugasuk has been the guy to knock him down. 10 left to shoot.
Without Murray Boyles on the floor, you have to think it's probably Jacoby Wright who's going to have to create here.
He's got the ball right now. 7 to shoot. Good first step. Fade away.
Good possession there by Indiana. And Bryson Tucker staying right there, staying down on the jump stop, and then Ballo with a solid block out.
Ballo now with 11 rebounds. Most for the Hoosiers.
And the beauty of this lineup for Indiana, yes, Miles Rice can play pick and roll, but this guy can too.
Tucker, the freshman, an extra step, travel.
And that's going to be the next thing that he's got to work on if he wants to expand his game and play at the next level. He's got to look for his three-point shot, and he's got to be more efficient in making them. We know he can get to his pull-up, but those are the shots where Galloway's created for you. Instead of just shooting an open one, you travel.
7 turnovers now against Indiana. Thomas. Ugasuk left open.